A History of Sacred Heart Church Catholic Women's League. Mrs. V. Ebb Klein of Cranbrook, accompanied by Mrs. Tehan of Trail, addressed the ladies of the Sacred Heart Parish to interest them in the formation of a subdivision of the League. Mrs. C. D. Hunt was chairman. Reverend John H. Byrne was pastor. A motion was made by Mrs. May Slade, seconded by Mrs. Cooper, that we form a subdivision. The historic meeting took place January the 6th, 1937, in the IOF Hall. The number of chartered members were 21. Membership fees were $1 per year. Per capita, 10 cents, diocesan, and national 10 cents. Meeting schedule for the third Thursday of the month in various homes.
In September, our new pastor, Father Frederick Monahan, arrived. Our chief functions were to broaden our religious knowledge and to assist our pastor. Social circles were formed in different districts of the town for religious studies, social action, and the organization of fundraisers. Teas and bazaars were necessary as there was still a large building debt owed to the bank. The circle meetings were held in CWL members' homes, and each circle was represented by their president and secretary at the CWL general monthly meetings. The circles were St. John Vianney, St. Mary's, St. Joseph's, St. Gerard's, St. Helen's, St. Teresa's, St. Bernadette's, St. Patrick's, Holy Rosary, and St. Katrina's. The Sisters of Charity of Halifax arrived in September 1939. League members then formed a convent auxiliary circle. This circle worked very closely with the sisters in the work of catechetics, music classes, senior and junior choirs, and the organization of a kindergarten. Many religious festivals were enjoyed over the next 27 years until the sisters left and the convent closed.
World War II occurred. Our efforts now turned to providing food parcels and knitted garments for the services. Mrs. Mickey Edmonds was our Red Cross representative, and she was in charge of the knitters, who supplied many Afghans and other comforts for the overseas armed forces. Many charities were generously subscribed to, such as Father Starkey's Chinese Mission, Father Carlisle's Sailors Club, our National War Drive of $25,000, care parcels for India, France, and Poland, and other war-torn countries were sent for many years after the end of the war. Membership in the League increased, and it was necessary to have a larger place to meet. The club rooms, part of the rectory basement, were created. These rooms contained 6 or 8 card tables and a small kitchen. We served breakfast here for up to 57 children until we built the parish hall.
In the 50s and 60s, our energies turned to assisting the many wars projects of the diocese, such as the Notre Dame University Fund, the Seminary Fund, the Diocesan Education Fund, Summer Vacation School, Notre Dame Library, and the diocesan newspaper, the Prospector. Advertising and newsletters in the Prospector were paid for by local businesses. Our Sacred Heart Parish Hall was opened in 1958. A number of our members became involved in the teaching of catechism, taking courses to upgrade their knowledge after the sisters left. We hosted the 1969 World Day of Prayer and participate to this day. CWL honored Pat Sovishin in becoming a Girl Guide leader. For many years, our parish CWL Council presented scholarships. First recipients were Araujo, Rinaldi, Kennedy, and O'Neill. In 1977, Mary Smith became awarded the first Maple Leaf Service Pin for her work in the CWL throughout the East Kootenays. The CWL has continued to do their work for God and Canada over the last few decades, 1970s to the present date. We who are present are all familiar with those works and with the many duties done by members of the League for this parish. 2010, two members of our council received the Belgian pin. They are Vera Checo and June Rockledge.
We have hosted 4 conventions. The first convention was held in May 1942 in the IOF Hall with Mrs. John Glennie as president. 16 delegates from the diocese came and all were billeted. Second convention, 23rd Annual Eucharistic Congress and CWL Convention was held in the parish hall in 1959. Mrs. W. Theriot was president and Francis Fisher, general convener. The 48th Diocesan Convention in 1985 was the 4th. The business sessions were held in the parish hall and the banquet at the ski hill. Alice Holgren was president. The 4th convention in 1998 was held at the ski hill. June Frockledge was president.
members of the Sacred Heart Catholic Women's League, Council of Kimberley, would like to commemorate Maureen Pattison for her dedication, good works, and organization on the history of our council for the 75th celebration. We continue our charitable works in our community and the world. We pray Our Lady of Good Counsel will guide us to become more spiritually alive for God and Canada. In closing, thank you all for coming and participating in our 75th anniversary celebration. May God and Our Lady of Good Counsel bless you all and have a safe trip home. Thank you.